What's up, guys? Welcome back to your favorite podcast, the Dirt Drive Podcast. This week, we let PJ take the reins. He's up in Rausch Creek with twinstickcrawlers, doing some wheeling. Finally, we're back out on the trails. He's joined by a bunch of dudes that came up for the event. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and get to the episode. So I hope you guys enjoy this week's episode of the Dirt Drive Podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Dirt Nerds Off-Road Podcast. All right, let's do that again.
Do you want me to do the intro again?
Jesus Christ.
The Dirt Drive.
Dirt.
I thought you were supposed to be good
There's
at this.
a lot of dirts going on here.
I know.
Dirt off.
Jerk off.
Sorry, jerk off. Dirt.
The jerk off.
It's the dirty jerk off.
Hey, here's the intro.
It's the dirty jerk off, and welcome to this week's podcast.
Welcome to the Circle Jerk.
All right, so we're gonna start now, and I'm Breaking Billy, and welcome to the podcast this week. So next to me, we got
YJ Bill from Hardline 4x4.
Hell yeah.
Scumbag Steve 15.
And the Jeep guy. We also have twinstickcrawlers, a.k.a. Tommy.
fucking Tommy.
Fucking Tommy.
Formerly known as the 6-0
Fucking
hooligan.
guy.
This guy. All right, so do you actually want to do a real intro to this? Because I think this is the perfect,
Oh, yeah.
blooper.
That was perfect. Unscripted and everything.
Oh my gosh, we could screw this up without even trying. Sounds like our day out on the trails, man.
If we're not fucking shit up, it's not real.
It's really not. So,
Broadcasted live from Rausch Creek Off-Road Park.
this is priceless. So the reason why we're up here this weekend is because our good buddy Tommy invited us up from Twin Stick Crawlers, and PJ, thank you for taking photos today.
Yeah.
They were awesome and amazing. But it was a good day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we wheeled yesterday too, and even then that was pretty
wow.
fun too.
Okay.
So
You were out here yesterday?
yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And to think this all started because one guy, Tommy Williams, made a post. And then
We
26
actually
people
agreed.
Let's go
decided that they
wheeling.
wanted to show up throughout the course of the weekend.
Wow.
Pretty awesome stuff.
Yep. Who wants to start?
Start what?
I'm not starting.
No.
How are we going to start
I'll pick
this?
up the rear.
Do you want me to start off?
All right. Or
I-
you can, or
I can start.
you're the interviewer.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, PJ, the Jeep guy. The
PJ.
nickname started from college. I went to Wyotech in Blairsville, Pennsylvania,
All right.
Okay.
and I drove my LJ. I've had that. That's my first car. I've had it since high school. I still have it. That's the one I drove to Moab and back without a trailer.
Wow.
That's quite the trip.
Wow.
That was the only one with a TJ LJ on the campus, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you're the Jeep guy." So
Makes sense.
Just
how
like
it's
that.
just stuck.
Okay.
And I just haven't changed it. So,
Cool.
yeah, from Wyotech, did a little bit of time in the dealership at a Jeep, local Jeep dealership. Worked at a couple different off-road shops. Worked for Ferrari Maserati for 2 years. Couple odds and ends jobs here and there. And then I found Dirt Nerds.
Okay.
And that's where I've been ever since.
That's awesome.
And then
So I'm
I
gonna
just do media on the side, do design work on the side, just do a bunch of stuff. But,
So I'm going to throw way back. When you were a kid, were you a Matchbox kid?
kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Yeah.
Not like full blown. I was more of like Legos.
Okay.
Tonka trucks.
Not really.
Okay.
I had a couple RC cars. I don't think I grew into the automotive stuff until Monster Garage came out,
Okay.
Orange County Choppers,
Yep.
and then Overhauling.
Oh, yeah.
That like
Yep.
set the
Fuel
bar.
the fire.
Yep. And my dad's a car guy too. His car before he got married was a '67 Mercury Cougar,
Very cool.
green with a vinyl top.
Yep.
Yep.
I can envision the grill.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay.
So it's definitely in my blood.
Yeah.
It is, but you weren't from like stage one. So
No.
there's a
Yeah.
reason why I asked that.
I
is,
know.
like,
You really set the tone for how far back this goes.
Yeah.
I was born with like
A matchbox in your
car
hand.
in my
But
hand.
to that point, I've always been inclined to take stuff apart and figure out
Okay.
how it works and put it back together.
If it works afterwards.
Yeah, like the whole Legos, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
You're hardwired.
Yeah.
It starts from a
Okay.
very early
Yep.
age.
Like when one of my toys would break, I would take it apart, maybe put it back together because
Yep.
You just took it
you're,
apart.
You're a kid.
Yeah. But the
My parents
mechanical
would be like, "Why did
inclination
you
was
take
there.
it apart? That was expensive." Ah. But yeah,
Okay. So, I mean, I was always the Matchbox kid.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
I was born with a Matchbox car in my hand. I had probably like 400 million Matchbox cars, and it was always cars.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Same here about Hot Wheels.
Yep.
Same
yeah.
difference.
Hot
I mean,
Wheels.
Hot Wheels,
Yeah.
Matchbox.
Same thing.
It's these small little cars.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good story. Yeah. All right.
There's a little bit more to it, but I won't dive into it.
Let's
Yeah.
dive
You guys
into
are
it.
the
Come
guests.
on.
Yep.
So your audience obviously knows.
Yeah,
You.
I mean they've heard a little bit of my story. I'm also a firefighter. I've been doing that since I was 16,
Okay.
roughly 15 years now. So technically a life member. Outside of that, like I said, I've been doing photography almost longer than I've been a mechanic.
Oh wow.
Because I only started like professionally turning wrenches when I was 20, 21 in like
Okay.
2011. But I was like dead set on working on Jeeps, working for Jeep. Like that's
Yep.
all I wanted to do was off-road. And then the dealership life was like dragging knuckles.
Yeah.
It was
Or busting knuckles.
I've
was
done
miserable.
it. I know. I know the flat rate hustle
Yeah.
pretty well.
it's worth it if you find the right shop.
Right.
But
And the
that
right
whole
leader.
the whole warranty aspect and management that
Yep.
always plays a factor
Yep.
in it.
If you have the right service advisor and the right manager, yes, you take a loss of warranty, but they're supposed to make up in the back end
Yep.
with a good gravy job, your 40K service, your brake job, your suspension stuff.
Yep.
State inspection, send it out.
The first job was dealership local to me, Jeep Chrysler Dodge, and then Kia Subaru, and I worked both where they needed me because I
Yeah.
was just kind of hourly helper at that point.
Right.
And then they put me on the flat rate, and they had their favorites as far as service advisors, and I literally went a full week without work.
Oh, man.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like,
Guys,
what are you guys going to
drowning.
do about this? And
Yep.
we're like, well, you can take a week off, and then when you come back on Monday, we'll talk about it. I was like, cool, that's all I need to know.
Yep.
See you later.
Thanks for the attaboy. I'm gone.
Right?
That's why toolboxes have wheels.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But
Exactly why.
I like the Dirt Nerds. That's a good group.
Yeah.
They're definitely like-minded, and that's probably the big aspect of it. You got to find the right people to work with.
It seems like they do a good range of product services, different vehicles, trucks, Jeeps.
Me
All-
specifically.
Yes. You specifically.
Yep.
All right, so Bill, let's dive into what do you do, and talking about service and talking about all that side of things.
I mean-
you stated earlier on the intro, Hardline Fabrication, or Hardline 4x4 as it's known today.
Yes. I guess to kind of start a little further back, you got
I tried to lead you into that. I caught that.
No, you said I guess early stuff. So I was a Tonka truck kid, playing, sandbox kid as many boys are, and I think the big influence for me was grandfather had a custom car upholstery business in Long Island. My grandparents are Irish immigrants. He moved over here. Long story short, messed up grandma's sewing machine, fixing a panel in his car.
Okay.
The actual side panel.
Yeah.
And it launched into a business, and then that's what he did. And I was always around him as much as I could be, and the passion of like old cars, seeing them revitalized and something better by watching these interiors transform from like ratty to beautiful.
Yep.
And it didn't stop at cars. You did boats and semi-trucks and really cool stuff. But I think that was like the thread of interest in cars.
Yeah.
Going to car shows, seeing these old classics. Definitely got into the old classics for a while, like muscle car stuff. And then high school, reading like 4x4 magazines with the square bodies with the
four-wheeler
16
magazine
shocks in the front. The ridiculous stuff in the
Peterson's.
80s. Yep. But then it kind of like left that. And high school, parents discouraged me from being a mechanic. I'll never make any money. Never forget that.
I hear you loud and clear there.
Yeah, so I just like, okay, I'll do college, and it wasn't for me, and did that for a while, and just kind of did some backyard mechanic stuff, and it just kind of grew into, I dated a girl, and she's like, wow, you actually fixed my car. You did a good job. You should be a mechanic. And I was like out of a job, and I'm like, I might go to a tech school in Pennsylvania from upstate New York. And I moved to Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And I just stayed. I went to the Universal Technical Institute, and I'm like, here I am. I'm a mechanic. Never liked Jeeps at that point. Never even thought about. Never, wheeling in the woods with friends. But it was interesting ride. And I got through the dealership stuff. I did Audi Academy. I worked for Audi Lamborghini in Greenwich, Connecticut. I moved back to Pennsylvania. I guess from that point, I bought a four-wheeler. Okay.
Yep.
Four-wheeler, hit some gnarly jumps. I'm like, you know what?
Scratch that itch.
Scratch that itch, and I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I'm gonna have a kid soon.
Yep.
I need to get rid of this thing. Some dude traded me straight up for a CJ7.
What?
33s.
Wow. Was this prior COVID?
This is prior COVID.
This is way before COVID.
Yeah, this is like 2016.
I think he just called you old.
I know.
No.
I always gotta
mean,
ask
I remember before COVID,
prior
but still.
COVID prices are always a good conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, the four-wheeler trade for the CJ started everything for the 4x4 stuff. I mean, that was I went out to Rausch Creek once, and I'm like, that's it. I'm doing this. I actually quit my dealership job like 6 months later.
Yeah.
I went to work for Mainline Overland. They hired me in to be their shop foreman, which didn't really pan out that way. And you know what? I'm like, I'm going to do my own thing. I left, put a lift in my home garage, started doing fab stuff, and then I was getting too big for the shop at my house.
Yep.
And I'm like, I need to expand.
And we met just before that when you had your home shop.
Yep.
And I came down there a couple times, and it was freaking awesome. I started drooling because it was like a dream shop to me.
I had a plasma table. I had welders.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, it was 390 square foot. It was 21 by 19, a little
and
tiny
he
space.
made every inch of that shop work.
Super efficient.
How long ago was that?
That was just about 3 years ago.
I was going to say, it wasn't that long ago, right?
No, it was not.
Yeah.
I think 4 years was the start. It was right before COVID. I put a lift in the garage. I had to like cut the ceiling out. I had a buddy come in that was a structural, wood guy, carpenter.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the hip roof. It's unsupported. They added an attic, took the attic out, put the lift in, and then started rolling. So
That's
it's like,
awesome.
Yeah. And, township guys started like looking around and taking pictures of the property. I'm like, we're going to get shut down here real soon. I thought about doing a pole barn, and I'm like, I got to get a shop. And I remember my wife was like, do not get a shop. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
So, of course, I call the commercial realtor,
like trying to figure this out.
And I'm like, we can afford this. And then Hardline Fabrication was born as a business, incorporated as an LLC. And, man, it's been a ride ever since. We're now I'm in a 5,000 square foot shop. We have 3 two-post lifts, an alignment rack, scissor lift. And, we're growing.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it started. Now
that's
I'm on my 7th Jeep, now a JK from a CJ, and a couple YJs. That's why it's YJ Bill. Love the YJs, love the square headlights.
Yep.
It's been a ride. And for a person that's never been into Jeeping or Jeeps or 4x4 anything as of 6 years ago, to now I'm like a shop owner and very proficient. I mean, axles, transfer cases, I know the ins, the outs, the joints, not everything, but for somebody that didn't know anything, I like to think I caught on pretty quick. I ate, slept, breathed 4x4 stuff. Axles, hydro assist, how does this work? How does that work? Travel, anti-squat, like all the things I could absorb, all the videos, all the information, just like diving into it as hard as I could.
Have you guys been to SEMA?
No, I've never been to SEMA. No. I've actually never been to the West Coast.
Have you been to SEMA?
I've never been to the West Coast either. Well, let me scratch that. I've been to British Columbia.
If you
but-
get a chance to go to SEMA, it's definitely worth it, especially
Yes.
if you are a business owner
Yeah.
or doing social media, any
Yep.
of that kind of stuff, podcast, anything. They have little workshops that whole
Okay.
week, which I didn't know about.
That's pretty slick.
We all went, Tim, Tom, Trevor, myself, we all went. Tim kind of focused on the workshops. But
Right.
as far as like business owner, they have the same things where they have a panel of all of these business, consultants
Right.
in the industry who are successful, and they just talk to people.
That's wonderful.
So it's definitely
I've heard
worth
about
it.
that. I heard it's awesome that
It's
SEMA
like,
does.
obviously go to see the cars and stuff, but there are
Sure.
stuff there for other things to learn, which is good.
Well,
it's not just a car show.
It's a marketing and business.
It's a lot of
That's what it is, but it's good that they still do it.
convention. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I think it's so valuable for like young, up and coming, even seasoned,
Exactly.
business
They're
owners.
big into education
Yeah.
too,
Right.
which is huge.
There's no gatekeeping.
no.
No, that's good.
Yep.
It's the only way to learn.
You and Tom are on the same wavelength as far as where you started and the
Yeah,
shop
very-
and
very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Very, very grassroots.
because Tom was the same way, nothing related to Jeeps, and then once he started getting into it, that's when it took off.
Yeah. Yeah. Prior, my dealership experience was 7 years as a Volkswagen Master Tech. Like that
'Cause
was.
Tom and
Yeah.
Trevor did dent repairs.
Okay.
And then before that, Tom was, I want to say Audi. He can correct me on that later. But same thing. Was a mechanic. Trevor was doing dent repairs with him.
Yep.
And then started doing side work out of the garage. Started getting overbooked at his house, and then wife came out and was like, "I can't park. We need to do something."
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
Yep. That's how it goes.
I've
It's
had
a classic
that
story.
conversation.
Yep.
Good
Steve,
stuff, though.
Oh, no.
do you have any more, Bill?
I mean, there's more, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
That's a good intro, I would say. Yep.
Jeez. Mr.
All right.
Steve.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of had the same childhood that you guys are describing. Hot Wheels, Matchbox, RC cars. I was never really into off-roading up until probably, I don't know, maybe 20. Well, let me not say that. My first car, we'll get to that. My first car was a 91 GMC Sonoma, 5-speed V6, four-wheel drive, total shitbox. Total, rust
Cyclone.
bucket. Yeah.
I feel like everybody needs a shit box at least
Yeah,
once.
So 91 GMC Sonoma 5-speed, and I remember somebody asking me, buddies with Jeeps, like, "Oh, do you want to go off-roading or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do."
Yeah.
And again, it was a 5-speed. I was like 16, and I was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this." You know what I mean? Working the clutch and the brake and all that.
Barely start off from the hill.
Yeah. Well, so I went with them and I did pretty good, and then I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." You know what I mean? And then I remember a couple buddies of mine, they wanted to go to this mud hole or whatever, and I mean, it's funny because now I hate mud, but
Yeah, that's how it goes. Despise it like the plague.
right. So I hit this mud hole. They're like, "Oh, go through it," and I think they were trying to get me stuck. You know what I mean? But I make it through it, and then my buddy tries to go. He gets stuck. I pull him out, and I remember just driving home that day, and I was like, "That was awesome."
Yeah.
I want to do more of that. You know what I mean?
It just stuck. You're like,
Right.
what's this?
Right. Exactly. And then, but I didn't dive in yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Put your toe in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've always been obsessed with cars since I was a kid. My dad was into cars. My grandfather's into cars. Uncles and all them. But again, they're into cars. You know what I mean? I kind of gravitated a little bit more towards trucks. But so then, let's see, after high school, I got into drag racing and stuff. And again, just everybody's building Mustangs and Camaros and stuff like that. And
What another dumb fucking hobby.
Yes.
Oh, it's the dumbest.
that go
It's the
It
fucking
is.
dumbest.
It's very stupid.
Oh, it's so dumb. But so me being the weird guy that I am, I was like, man, I want to build a truck. You know what I mean? I like trucks,
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For some reason I didn't. I ended up getting into into Hondas.
Okay.
And I got into Hondas because they were just everywhere. They're cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Parts are cheap. The used market is everybody's got parts for a Honda under their front doorstep. You know what I mean?
Pre-COVID
So-
pricing.
Yeah, that's well before COVID.
Yep. EG hatch is 10 grand now. Rusted.
Yeah, exactly. So, whatever. We'll breeze right over that. I did drag racing for years, and then I had a kid and kind of realized, like, all right, this isn't really a sport you can do. You can do it with your family, but all they're going to do is sit there in the stands and kind of watch you. And, you got so much shit going on in the pits, you're like, you can't really pay attention to them. You can't really enjoy it with them.
Yeah.
Kind of in it for you at that point.
Right. They're kind of just showing up just because, like, that's what Dad's doing. You got to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, honestly, I think we were talking about this earlier. I kind of just woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I'm all done with this. Like, I need to do something that's more family friendly. You got to grow up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I sold my car and I bought my first XJ because, again,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Love the XJs.
So
Love the XJs. Sorry.
But it was literally like, I need to find something that I can do with my family, and so I was like, all right, well, I like off-roading, you know what I mean? I'm into that stuff. I just wasn't like I said, I wasn't full blown yet. But I got an XJ, did like a simple 4.5-inch lift, 35s, and I feel like you guys can all agree with this. But like, you put your first Jeep on like an obstacle and you like walk it and you're just like, oh my god, that was awesome. I can't believe I just drove up that. You know what I mean? And
something
chasing that high ever since.
Oh my god! Ever since then, it was just like, holy shit, I need more of that. You know what I mean?
Chasing the dragon.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, that Jeep was just a total junker. You know what I mean? So it ended up.
Shitbox life.
Yeah.
We like saying it.
So, but at the same time, though, I'm still helping my buddies with their race cars and stuff. And I actually drove my Jeep. So I'm from, well, at the time, anyways, I was from Ansonia, Connecticut. I drove my Jeep 2 hours out to like Newburgh, New York area to help my buddy work on his car. And this was like 8 o'clock at night. I ended up driving home at like 11:30 or something like that, and the Jeep overheated. It was a 2001, so I think we all know how that went.
Yeah.
So it ended up overheating, and I was like dead broke. Didn't have any money to like stop and buy coolant or even like a bottle of water. So I was like, well, I'm not sitting here on the side of the highway, so I just kept driving it. And I was about
4-0s for the win.
And another thing too that's funny, I should probably add,
295, here we go.
the Jeep was on 35s and stock gearing. So I had to keep it in third gear because overdrive it would just bog out like crazy.
Yep.
So I'm driving this thing home in third gear and it overheated till the point it just shut off.
Awesome.
And whatever, I ended up selling that thing for like pennies. But then I was like, all right, well, I don't want to get out of this. So I was like, I'm gonna save my money and try to find. For some reason, I kind of caught like a little XJ bug, but I was like, I'm going to try to find a 2-door, 5-speed, 4.0 HO. Like, I wanted like a very specific Jeep.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I ended up finding it a couple years later, and that's kind of where we're at now. I mean, if you guys look up the Instagram page, you'll see all the progress from that point and me buying it to where it's at now. So.
Heck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And then here we are at Rausch Creek crawling shit. I definitely shouldn't be.
It works, though, man. It just works.
Hell
the
yeah.
wheelbase, the gearing.
I don't know what it is about that thing. Like we said, it shouldn't do the things that it does, but it just sometimes does it.
Is the 2-door the same length as the 4-door?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
It's the same.
XJs are similar length as LJs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm not 100% sure what an LJ is, but I know
they're close.
The LJ is 110.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's way
think.
shorter.
And LJ is 110, 109.
It's a
So
extra 10 inches.
Yeah.
2-door and 4-door Cherokees are both, I believe, 99 inches or 100 even. And I mean, mine is 106. It's not super stretched. You know, it's a little bit of stretch in the front and rear, but nothing crazy.
That's kind of how mine is. I'm still running Dana 30, 44 rear, 35s.
Yeah. I mean,
4.0.
you can get plenty far with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Every time I take it to the Cove, local to us, anybody in that circle that I wheel with, they're like, God damn it, it just fucking wheels.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
like,
wheelbase
"It just
works.
I don't know.
Wheelbase
Open
is such an
front
underrated
in the 30?
topic.
Yeah, that does help it a lot.
Yep. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't fucked with it because I bought the tons. Like, I'm not going to waste money doing
Other
anything
stuff,
to a Dana
yeah.
30 if I'm just going to upgrade anyways.
Yeah. Fix if it breaks, keep you wheeling and keep
Exactly.
going. Yep.
Yeah.
Wheel your shit, till it breaks.
And they
And then
keep
up-
wheeling it.
Keep wheeling it.
Sometimes.
Drive your shit till it overheats, and then just keep driving.
Just keep driving it.
Yeah, wheelbase is definitely an underrated topic when it comes to off-roading.
Yeah.
It really is.
But
Yeah, coming from a TJ to a JK at 117,
Oh, yeah.
what
Yeah.
a difference of stability
Oh, yeah.
and capability. Tippy TJs, so I call them now.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
terrible. I
Yeah, they
mean,
really are.
they can be set up nice, but you got to really put some work into it
Yeah.
and stretch them and,
Yep.
Yeah.
make them wider.
What is your dream build other than what you have now?
me?
Yeah. Like if
Honestly-
you could buy whatever you wanted off like Facebook Marketplace or brand new and build
man,
it
that's a good
exactly how
question.
you wanted.
I do enjoy the streetability of a JK, like
Yeah.
especially something like yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's-
42s, but full interior, nice and comfy.
Yep, AC.
But at the same time, something with like rear steer and portals would be fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You got to have
But-
both. Rear steer
Yeah,
portal buggy
I mean, if
and
you
a
got the
JK on
budget.
tons.
And
Yeah.
AC.
And AC.
It is nice.
AC is definitely a
Yeah.
big thing.
It doesn't suck at all.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to answer. To be honest, when I think of like my future in wheeling, honestly, I just have a bunch of visions for this thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
just more and more upgrades.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I have no intentions to get rid of it.
Doesn't owe you much.
No,
No?
If
not
anything at all.
Not at all. No, that thing I've definitely put it through hell. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have a really good answer for
That's
that.
fine.
So
Bill?
That is the answer. Oh, me?
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm on my 7th Jeep. I've had a CJ, I had another CJ, had 2 YJs, TJ, a couple other like tubs in between. I don't know
Yeah.
if they count as Jeeps, but I would say this JKU is by far the best I've ever had. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs a cage, but it just works. It's comfortable. It flexes well. It looks good. I mean, tons, 42s.
Because you got rock crawler fronts and it's tons front and rear, right?
I can do the whole breakdown of the rig quick if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So 16 JKU, 05 plus Super Duty 60s, reeds, factory shafts, 2.5 ton steering, PSC, hydro assist. Rear is a 10.5 Airbs 538s front and rear, 8-speed transmission from an 18 Dodge Ram 1500,
Okay.
which that makes all the difference. It's a sport case,
Okay.
2.72 to 1 sport case, but I can drive it all day in low range and never have to change into high range. So it crawls good, it goes high speed good. Coilover front, Fox 2.5s, 12s, rear Fox shocks on coil spring, 13.5 inch travel rear Fox shocks. Motor built gas tank. I mean, what else? Yeah, rock roller 3-link front, rock roller 3-link rear. It just does the things.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, it's very, very
Does
capable.
the
It's
things.
smooth. I don't know. It's comfortable. It's a family rig.
Yeah.
I drive it to work on the highway at 70.
Yep.
It tacks low RPMs with the 538s because of the 8-speed. For me right now in life and money and budget, like this is the perfect setup. It just works. It's
Tom, take notes.
now, I say that, but like there's things like a cage. Like I don't want to do hill climbs and roll this thing and crush the body or my
Yeah.
head. But rear steer portal buggy, of course, is
Yeah, everybody
man,
wants
oh,
a rear
man.
store portals.
But the all around, this is perfect. I can't hit every obstacle. It's more for like myself wanting to destroy this thing or getting
Yeah.
hurt. But it could do probably anything I push it to do. So I don't know. It's pretty much there
yeah,
for
I mean,
me.
you see these JKs do some pretty wild shit.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of a JK hater. Like when these things
no,
came
absolutely.
out,
Oh,
like
I definitely
just
was.
these things are stupid. Like nice
Right.
minivan motor, dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And now I'm like, it may not be the greatest motor in the world, but it works.
Yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
fine. It's plenty of
They
power.
just chug along.
Yeah. They
The
have their
3.8 or
problems.
the 3.6?
Yeah.
3.6.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I have in this. But I don't know. Like I said, I was a JK hater for a while, and now I'm like, this thing's awesome. It really is.
Just kidding, not a real Jeep.
Just yeah. But
Four
Nice Fiat, bro.
Real Jeeps have 2 doors.
yeah, but when you start seeing, you start doing things that, buggies can do.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what? Okay. But like you said, wheelbase is everything.
Oh
Absolutely.
It's I think they're 116 stock. This one measured out 117. A little bit of front stretch. But
Wheelbase and belly height.
Yeah.
Plays a big part.
It really does.
42-inch Nitto trail grapplers and 20-inch RBP bead locks. So, DOT breed, yeah. It has all the things to party nicely.
Oh yeah.
Its only limitation is me.
Driver mod.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Billy?
Oh, geez.
Or are you just dead set on what you have right
Where
now?
to start? Let's go back.
What you
even.
got now works
I didn't
pretty
even
well.
give my
I was
back
gonna say,
history.
just give us a rundown on yours right now.
Oh, so I'll start with that. So it's a 99 Jeep Wrangler TJ. That was cut in the front, cut in the back.
I was gonna say, there's
So
not much left of that
front
right
half,
now.
back half. It's
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Can we spotlight the guy that built it? That's
Oh,
not with us?
absolutely.
Thank you. Sad
so
story.
This rig originally was built by a gentleman named Zach Vaughn. Zach Vaughn owned a company called A to Z Fabrication. And if
I've heard of them.
If you know the company, you know the history.
Yep.
Zach was an amazing fabricator, an amazing builder.
I have customers come in every day talk about him.
And he just, the way he worked with metal was out of this world.
And people, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy.
I never met him, and it's a shame because I wish I did, but unfortunately he did pass away
Oh, it's terrible.
from cancer. That's awful.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
But you have a part of his legacy now, which
I do.
is amazing. That lives on.
That I rebuilt. So I bought this rig that I currently have. Its name is Reaper, and it's a 99 TJ on Pro Rock 60s front and rear, ARB 35 spline, inner outers, everything, drive slugs, full hydro steering in the front. So PSC steering taking care of that, and then it's a inline 6 4.0 liter into a 42 RLE.
Hell yeah, brother.
2JZ of the Woods.
2JZ of the Woods behind like the indestructible transmission. Oh, it bounces off the rev limiter like nobody's business. Into an Atlas 5-to-1 transfer case.
Oh.
Yeah.
5-to-1.
Okay.
5-to-1. So that's where the party kind of really happens.
That's another thing is gearing.
Oh my gosh.
Gearing, wheelbase, and belly
You're where
height.
the party happens.
Freaking, it's awesome. And then it's on Trep 40 sticky competition.
Fucking trapeze.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You're a sticky competition.
Oh
Yep.
my, it is. I got into a sticky competition earlier. No, but it's a great rig.
Who's gonna be on to now?
Oh yeah, she's a dirty girl.
There we go. Hit the wrong button.
No, it's fully caged and it's seen its better days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost saw better days today.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
just-
It works really well.
It just crawls and climbs.
So,
and then,
on your rig,
yes.
describe to me how you got the name Break It Billy, because I'm not aware of that whole.
Oh my gosh. So Break It Billy came from a weekend of me breaking shit that shouldn't have broke. So there's this new
That sounds like an average day of wheeling.
it was kind of an average day of wheeling, but like it was just all in a combination that weekend. And my buddies are like, I just got the rig, and he's like, oh, you're on Dana 60s, you're fine, like this is no big deal. And then I take it out to this trail called the Mammoth Trail over at AOAA, which we're at Rausch Creek. AOA is the sister park. It's kind of down the road. And Mammoth Trail is insane. It's a mile and a half of the most insane built, man-made.
It's kind of like Rock Creek at Rausch, just on steroids.
But just boulders.
It's
Yeah.
Rock Creek with size, like the rocks start at like dishwasher size
it's accurately named.
to
Yes,
like
that's
school
correct.
bus. So yeah, I broke an inner, an outer, and a U-joint all in the same time.
Damn.
Wow.
Like
Impressive. That's
simultaneously?
skill right there.
Exploded, and my buddy's like, "You're Break It Billy," and I'm like, "All right, that's
You know what? I kind of like that.
That's stuck." And
man.
I've blown up 4 Jeep motors. Yeah, 4.
Are you proud of that, or
I mean, I'm kind of proud of it at this point.
But
Like,
also surprised. At least I
very
would be.
surprised. Yeah,
they're supposed to be indestructible?
4 3.6 motors,
Oh,
That wasn't
not
your fault, though.
indestructible.
not indestructible. 4
It's just the
rows I
minivan.
haven't blown up yet. Yeah.
It's the 2JZ of the woods.
Yep.
2J's the words. Bounce it off the rev limiter. We don't give a shit.
She can take it.
So knowing all of that,
Yes.
if you didn't have that rig, what would you build out?
That.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
So, funny enough, I have a piece of cardboard in my garage that reminds me of this. So I had an XJ on Dana 35 rear, 30 front, like
the most desirable combo.
35s, 6.5 inches of lift. The thing was ridiculous. 5-speed 2-door, exactly like you, Steve.
Nice.
Love the rig. It was great. And I drew out this list. I was like, what I want in a rig. And it was like cage, tons, 40s, hydro. It was like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went and bought that. And it just checked everything off
Checked
the
all
list.
the boxes.
So that's where Reaper has kind of grown out of. And I found Reaper on Facebook Marketplace for $1.50,
I'd say.
and then it got pulled into the garage, completely rebuilt and welded some more. And did I mention I welded some more?
You did.
Did you buy that pre-COVID?
I bought it during COVID.
Oh God.
In like the
So how much was it?
It was tough
the
times during
beginning
COVID.
of COVID, and it was still a steal.
Okay.
I bought it for what the transfer case and half the axles cost.
That's pretty fair,
Yes.
especially
Like-
now.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that either.
And the transfer case was like $5,000 transfer case.
Yeah. You can buy 10 XJs with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Pre-COVID.
Buy my Jeep 3
Pre-COVID.
times over.
The XJ was still sitting in the park in my driveway as I like pulled this thing home, and I was like, I need to get rid of that XJ. The girlfriend was not happy with that shit.
All right. I think the only one that didn't do a build rundown was Steve over here.
Stevan.
All right, so mine is a very
Eclectic
It's
mix.
modest.
Mine is
I'd
a
say
very.
it's modest.
It's a. I would say it's a grassroots kind of build. So let it just be known that I'm poor. So I did what I could with what I could afford. And
All right.
again, like it works pretty well. But so
we
my
own a Jeep, we're all poor.
yeah. So my Jeep is it's a 95 XJ, 2-door, 5-speed, 4.0. Like I said, it checked all the boxes of the rig that I was looking for at the time. And I bought that in September of 2019. So was that COVID yet? Maybe right before it.
Just before.
Yeah. So
I think COVID was like 2020.
I don't
wanna say?
remember. I blocked
yeah, it
all
might not
out.
have been here
Yeah.
yet, but so
So
anyways,
it was all a blur.
yeah. So this thing came from I think it was
It never happened.
I think it was Pittsfield, Mass. I got that, but I bought it off a guy who it was his wife's daily driver, and it was absolutely mint. Like the cleanest.
If they could only see it now.
Oh, I know. I'm sure he'd be very upset. But it was honestly, it was the cleanest XJ that I've ever seen in person.
Great. You ruined it.
But the only
Way to go.
the only downfall to it, and this actually saved my ass on it, because the guy he posted it up for sale for I want to say $4,600, and I didn't have that much.
Yeah.
But I was like, whatever, I have to have this thing. I got to go see it in person. Even if we don't come to a deal, I'll tell him I'll come back or whatever. So I go and see it, and he did warn me that it had like a rusty floor. But he's like, oh, the floor's not too bad. Like, it can be fixed, whatever.
Every floor on an XJ is rusted.
Yeah, he's like, my wife drives it every day.
Really?
It's not a problem. So I go there, and there's like basketball-sized holes all over the
Yep.
floor. Like, the floor is fucking gone.
Flintstone mobile.
Yeah, dude, it was like, and I told him, I was like, she should probably not drive this every day.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of roached.
so by the time I even got there, like he posted this the next day, I told him, I was like, I got to come see it.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, he's telling me he's getting offers for like $6,000. Don't sell it. I'm gonna come tomorrow with $6,000, stuff like that. And I obviously I went with the intentions of lowballing the guy,
Oh,
just because I was like I said, I needed to
what
get
a
it.
dick.
So I get there, I look at it, I test drive it, I'm looking over it. I got my buddy with me, and I was like, listen, man, I was like, I think a fair price for this would be, $2,000. And like, even just saying the words out loud, I felt kind of like messed up, just lowballing the guy so bad, like less than half of what he's asking.
Yeah.
But, and then the guy's like, oh, no way, like, why, what makes you think that? And I was like, dude, the floor is just completely gone. It's not even safe to drive. And he's like, like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, listen, the absolute most I could give you for this thing was $2,200, and I literally went there, I think, with $2,250, and like, if he didn't take that, I was like, I guess no deal,
Yep.
But so he's like, all right, let me go talk to the wife. So he goes inside, and I'm just like sitting there, talking to my buddy, like, man, I hope he takes it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he comes back outside, and he's like, the wife says we got to get at least $2,500 for it. And I was like, I'm sorry, man, we got no deal then, And he's like, really, you gonna go home over, $300 or whatever? And I was like, dude, it's just not, I was like, any of those guys offering you $6, when they come here and see the floor, they're not going to give you $6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's as simple as that.
Take it for what it is.
Yep.
So right there, you're just like, all right, man, you got a deal. So I stole that thing. I mean, like, I'm not a fabricator by trade, but I am pretty decent at fabricating. So I did the floor in like a weekend. It was no big deal.
How bad was it?
I have pictures on my phone I can show you. It's just like the floor was gone.
Like all the way to the seat brackets gone?
Half of the passenger seat bracket where the seat belt bolts down is gone.
Yep.
I had to like rebuild it and
That's
put it all back in there. But so yeah, bought it, brought it home, did the seats, and I actually daily drove that thing for almost 2 years. I think it was a year and a half, year and 8 months or something like that. And then
Nice.
But in the meantime, I'm saving my money because like I said, I got that vision in my head, tons, 40s,
Yep.
The whole shebang. And so I was driving home from work one day. I want to say it was like June, and the AC stopped working, like halfway home. And I was like, today is the day. I was like, today is the day. So she goes under the
Only
knife.
today.
Yeah. So I, like, literally that weekend, I think I started tearing it apart, tore all the suspension out. And I actually did a little, like, temporary build. I acquired like a Ford 9-inch and a Dana 44, like a high pinion out of like a 75
Nice.
Bronco or whatever those are. And I like slapped it together. It was actually pretty nice, but I was like, it's not what I want.
Right.
So before I even like took it out for the first time, I just immediately took it all back apart.
Yep.
Sold all the parts. And
It goes that way sometimes.
yeah, and I mean, some guys, they desire those parts, like 9-inch, you know what I mean, Dana
Yeah, yeah.
44 and all that stuff.
Classic
so
combo, man. It
immediately,
works.
like, I posted it, sold all the parts, and then I went and bought 05 Super Duty Dana 60. I bought a 14 bolt like the same day. Both in one day, I went and bought the 14 bolt Dana 60, and I want to say I spent like $600 on both of them. Like, I got like a smoking deal. So yeah, so now it's got a 05 Dana 60, 03 14 bolt. It's got a Rock and Road Performance 3-link up front. It's got Ford Explorer leaf springs in the rear. It's got like a Rough Stuff anti-wrap bar.
Pretty decent transfer case too.
It has a pretty decent transfer case. It has a Terralo 4-to-1 transfer case, which is actually a pretty new upgrade that I just did, thanks to Bill. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Glad to see it go to you.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, honestly, other than that, it's got Tom Woods drive shafts. So the steering is actually a surplus center ram. It's like a $60 ram. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Perfect.
I drilled and tapped the stock steering box. I did a WJ V8 steering pump because for some reason they are like insane. Like they make a ton of pressure.
Good to know.
The thing turns in the rocks with one finger at idle, no problem. I did like a eBay fluid cooler for the power steering, and I think other than that, it's pretty much stock.
Yeah.
Like AX15 4.0.
Sounds pretty budget friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
You said
mean,
you're poor.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I honestly, one of my buddies asked me because he saw how much fun I was having with the thing and like all the crazy shit that I'm driving it over.
Right.
And he was like, how? And this kid kind of got a little bit of money, and he was like, how much did that cost you to build? Because I kind of want to throw one together. And I was like, and then I've never added up the money before, but I like sat there and I was like, dude, I think I only got like 10 grand in this thing, like including the cost of buying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be done. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason, if you are into off-roading, there's no reason why you can't just get out there and, be doing it with your buddies, because,
And you can do it for a lot less.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 'Cause
Reasonable
that thing,
expectations.
That thing, even with a high pinion 30 and an 8.8 out of like an Explorer, would go everywhere that we went today. You know what I
Especially
mean?
auto. Without having the 4-to-1,
Absolutely.
auto is the king.
Absolutely. Yeah, with the With the manual, you definitely need gearing. I mean, it's got 538s and the 4-to-1, which help a ton. I mean, without that, I mean, actually, the last time I was here, the stock transfer case and the 538s, it was doing stuff.
Yeah.
But not quite how it was today.
I think now you're at like, what, 78-to-1 crawl ratio? I did the math
Something like that.
a bunch of times, but I forget, but that number sticks in
If
my
somebody's
mind.
got a calculator, the first gear is 383, 4-to-1 in the transfer case, and 538. If somebody wants to add that up, I want to say it's like
Maths.
80ish to 1,
Maths.
which is still not super impressive.
It's
but
close.
I mean, yeah,
So I'm not even that high. I mean, I think I'm only like
82 to 1.
68.
82. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I have a 42 RLE, which I forget what the first gear is in that. I
Well,
think
you
it's
have like converter slips and stuff too that plays into it.
Yeah.
That'll help you out.
I want to say that was 2000s, but I don't remember which year specifically because mine's the 2004 and it has 42 RLE.
Yeah, mine's a 99,
Yeah.
but I think it was converted to a 42.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably got
So-
rid of whatever was in.
I think it was
the
like
previous.
a 32 RH or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the first gear in that is like crawl ratio kind
Yeah.
of deal is like a 3.48. I might be completely wrong, so please don't.
I don't
Don't
even know what
quote me.
mine is.
But either way, I think it's like a 3.4 to 1 and then 5 to 1 transfer case and 488s.
Really, only 488s in that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, so I have a set of 538s sitting in the garage.
You might start breaking stuff at that point.
Yeah,
though,
but
you
they're
know.
gonna go in either way, no matter what.
Yeah, break it, Billy.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
fuck
at
yeah,
least.
absolutely. But that's like a 68 to 1. But that, I mean, you were crawling up shit like nobody's business today.
Dude, I'm telling you, last time
buddy?
last time I came here with the stock transfer case, 272 to 1. It was like, we went on F Trail and I did that big ledge over there.
Yep.
And I was amazed. Like,
Yeah.
you guys were like, oh, you got it. You should be able to do it. And when I did it, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that.
It just
worked.
happens. It
And
works.
it was just no throttle. Just let it idle right up, and it kind of hopped for a second and went right over.
Yeah.
So now that it's got the 4-to-1, it's like night and day difference.
You can do that again in second gear.
Yeah, probably. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Do it again, just better.
Just
Yeah.
that.
Dude, we did awesome stuff today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a
you
lot
guys
of
were
fun.
entertaining to watch. It's not. I don't mind sitting passenger and watching everybody do it because I don't get to wheel that often
Yeah.
anyways. But like I said, doing media, I get to go hang out
Tomorrow,
with everybody.
tomorrow, jump in. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that was
Like,
my intent.
please
Like,
jump
I
in.
don't
better-
mind
you better
watching
drive my
do that.
rig. I don't care. You're not going to do anything worse than I can do to it.
Nope. I've done sketchier shit, so you're not going to scare me.
Oh.
I've
Oh,
been
it was
in
a
a rolled
blast
over car
today.
before, so it's nothing new to me.
Yikes.
I was upside down twice last year, so
It's different in a cage.
let me tell you,
Yes.
it's very different in a cage.
Yes.
Like
It
it
hits
is a
hard.
night and day. It hits hard, but at
Yeah.
the same time,
You don't get hit hard.
it doesn't hit your head.
So
Giggity.
it hits hard, but it's also not the last hit it'll ever take.
No,
So
yeah.
If my Jeep, if I roll that and it's a hard hit, it's the last of that Jeep. That
I
thing's
want to
done.
take my doors
You
off
know?
and my subframe collapses.
yeah.
XJ problems.
I mean,
Steve and I are the old men. The
Yeah.
dads are like, I want to flop this thing with no cage.
Yeah, well, like I
It's a
said, I'm
valid
also
concern, though. It
I'm
really
also
is.
poor, and tubing is expensive. I mean, is it
Also
more
that.
expensive than my life? I don't know, but
Yeah.
tubing is freaking expensive.
ridiculously expensive. That's definitely something that's gone up since COVID. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my
I've seen
jeez,
anywhere
yeah.
from $8 to $15 a foot, depending on where you
Yeah.
are for DOM.
The cheapest
Isn't it the
I
same thing for lumber too at one
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, it's wild.
I was looking at like 8 1/4, 850 for a foot of 120 wall.
the cheapest I've
DOM.
seen it, and this was like a buddy of mine giving me a deal, was like $750 a foot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's still so much money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Especially when you mess
And then
up
you got to
that
get a
4-foot
bender,
section.
Right.
a bender, a tube notcher.
So
you
it's
need-
funny you say that. I actually have a bender, but the bender's like $200, and dude, the dies are like almost $500.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So now I have a bender, and I've been sitting on it for like 2 years now because I can't afford to die.
What brand is it?
It's a Pro Tools 105.
Okay.
It's just like the JD squared, or
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same as the JD squared basically, but the dies are different. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I can't
Yeah.
use their dies. But
Tom, take notes.
Dang it.
No, I just picked up an Eastwood tube bender
yeah,
with the 1 3/4 die because that's what mostly my buggy is.
yeah,
and then I converted to hydro.
Yeah, that's
So
the
it's
move.
a hydraulic
That's the
ram,
move.
and oh my gosh, the thing just bends tube like you
Yeah.
just press the button and it just goes
In a matter of
It's-
seconds.
Yeah, it's an air to hydraulic ram.
Yep.
So it just freaking bends anything you want.
So they
And-
have a full hydraulic conversion too, and that I'm telling you, it'll bend a 90 in like 10 seconds flat.
Yeah, I've heard.
You know what I mean?
But full hydro is expensive.
Absolutely.
As
Yes.
well, because you got to buy the whole kit. But
Right.
I mean, it's worth what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a small shop, so little background on me. I work out of a 2-bay kind of just general two-door garage shop. Rebuilt my whole buggy in it, but it's very simple. It's not. I
Yeah.
don't have a lift. I work on jack stands and freaking floor jacks.
Everybody's been there.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. But you know what? We make it work.
Yep.
And I'm spray painting. I corner half the one half with like a fan out the back of the garage just to pull draft.
That's
and-
how our shop is right now.
Oh my gosh. But it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
the simple stuff that you need to make to work to just get through. And
Right.
this is what a lot of guys do. And it's the respectable thing. Like we all just, it's weekend warriors.
Yeah.
We are the guys that just make this shit happen.
Mm-hmm. That's like we said. There's no real excuse to not be out having fun because I mean,
No.
you can do it in your garage.
Yep.
And
can.
I mean, my Jeep is a perfect example of you don't have to spend a ton of money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I have my shocks are like $40 a piece. You know what I mean? I have like super cheap shocks. You know,
And you
like-
don't need a welder. You need a ratchet set. Like everything these
Yeah.
days is bolt on.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
you can do bolt on shit 100%.
And even if you wanted to get a welder, you don't have to spend a ton of money.
There's
Like a
freaking
Harbor Freight welder.
Harbor
you know?
Freight welders.
Right.
that
The
you can
Eastwoods
arc weld.
aren't that
Yeah.
expensive
That's
either.
it.
Yeah,
We have an Eastwood at the shop.
is
It
not,
does pretty well.
So I weld with a MiG 180 Eastwood on gas, and that thing I'll lay down beads that Mr. Professional over here,
Oh,
Bill
now,
Eustace,
come
is
on.
like, holy shit!
I saw a guy weld once. That's as far as I know.
He was like, you laid that
YouTube
down.
certified.
That's right.
You laid that down with a Harbor Freight welder.
That's a hobo freight.
And
As
I'm
we
like,
like to say.
yeah,
Hobo freight.
yeah. I can weld flux core like that well.
Listen, what's funny is that I started welding with flux core and I got pretty decent at it. And when I started welding with a gas MIG welder, I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, this shit's different.
Yeah, this is way better.
This is easy.
Yeah. I mean,
like
really
point-
though, if you
point
can
shoot.
if you can get good welds with a flux core welder, when you switch to gas MIG, you will be amazed at your skill. You know what I mean? Once you learn how to read a puddle and all that
Dude,
stuff.
night and day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the one thing I wish Wyotech did as far as welding. So I did the automotive side as the full course, and then the elective was street rod custom fabrication. Because at one point I wanted to work on hot rods, and then
I remember those commercials.
yeah, there.
I wanted to go to that school
Same
so
thing,
bad.
it was
We'd watch
kinda
the
like-
commercials.
It was that overhauling, influx.
Oh, they roped you into those old school feels of
Yep.
these hot
But
rod TV shows.
The downside was Wyotech didn't have a certification teacher, so nobody got certified in any of it. They did
yeah.
MIG, TIG, oxyacetylene, and plasma cutting.
Here's enough to be dangerous, kids. Go out there in the world.
Yeah, so even
Have
when you
fun.
leave,
Go weld a bridge up.
you can't go anywhere and be like, "Hey, I know how to weld." They're like, "Okay, where's your paperwork?"
What do you mean paperwork?
Here's my
I said I
Wyotech
could-
degree.
I said I can weld. That's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and same thing. Like you get into a dealership and regular shop, nobody's really doing welding, so it's a perishable skill.
Yeah.
So
That's a fact.
Yeah, if you're not like patching an exhaust or doing something
Yeah.
stupid, they don't really do that.
I think I saw a welder come out once in my 7 years at a Volkswagen dealership,
Right.
and it was just that. It was the patch a messed up muffler system
Yep.
on a Jetta.
Yeah.
Man.
They came out to hollow the cats out.
if they use the oxyacetylene torch more than they do the welder,
Yep.
You got a problem.
you're probably at a Jeep dealership.
Yep. The old nut warmer. What?
Excuse me.
Hey, my nuts are cold. Oh wait,
gotta
that's
say-
just the temperature outside.
It's not that bad.
The ambience.
It's a little brisk out.
The ambience of the crickets is nice in the background.
It's good. Yeah.
Really sets the
Grassroots.
tone. Yeah.
That's how the last
Grassroots.
episode
Yes.
was at Tim's house. except there was a little bit of a what was it? A little shindig going on in his neighbor's house, and it was all
Puerto Rican music. Hell yeah.
Oh,
It's catchy though.
Man.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
They were
Some Daddy
getting down.
Yankee playing over there.
Yep.
It's catchy when you're not trying to record a podcast though.
Yeah.
There's nothing more I like than some
Post-editing.
Spanish music at the beach,
Yeah.
blasting for everyone to hear.
I was tempted to bring my Jeep, but at the same time, I was like, I know I'm going to be riding with somebody else, so just drive the truck.
There you go.
yeah, makes sense.
So I,
Nothing wrong with being passenger. I've got friends that won't come out and wheel as passenger.
Yeah.
Not wheel, but come out
You
to
know.
wheel.
Just ride.
It's like, dude,
So let's talk.
It's still
on
a
that.
good time, though.
it is.
I don't know if I'd like. So I'm never a passenger because I always bring my rig. Like
It's not
I'm
too
always
late.
the guy that brings the vehicles.
Highly enjoyable.
It is. It's fun.
Must be
you know?
fucking nice.
Well, it is and it isn't because I'm like I say to people all the time. I'm like, drive my rig. I don't give a shit. Like you can't do anything worse than I've already done.
Right.
Because I've done a lot. Beyond a lot.
You break
But
a lot.
they're like, oh, I don't know about
Big
that.
breaking
But I'm
guy.
like, you want to ride passenger? I'm like, yeah. Dude, I have guys that just come up to wheel with me because, like, they'll bring an RV up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, can I wheel with you? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, can I ride passenger? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, can I sleep in your camper? Can I shit in your toilet later? And he's like, sure, yeah.
So
Podcast is taking a hard right turn.
Absolutely.
From which we
It,
cannot
it
recover.
usually does,
So-
so
It's
don't
fine.
worry.
my take on the
I'm not
passenger
shitting
thing-
on his floor, all right? I'm just
Oh
shitting
my
in
God.
the toilet that's in the trailer.
Here we go.
So my take on the passenger thing is, I have a couple good friends who are also into off-roading, but just they got other priorities.
Do
You know what I mean?
shit.
You're talking about us.
You're talking about us.
Well, no. So I have two of my best friends. They love off-roading too, but they got other priorities. They got other hobbies, so
Yeah,
they
it's not in the cards for them.
Right, so they're not gonna go and dump a bunch of money into a Jeep or whatever. They love riding passenger with me. One of them, every once in a while, he's always buying and selling and trading cars and stuff.
Yep.
And he gets Jeeps. And
I
when
have
he
a friend
does,
just like that.
when he does, I enjoy sitting passenger with him because I'm happy that he's going out. And
Right.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm like, I don't know. My name is Scumbag Steve, but I'm very willing to help and teach and
So
stuff
we're-
like that.
I was
So-
gonna
All right,
say,
can we
let's,
stop
let's,
for a second?
let's do
Comes up.
some
This
Where
always
did
comes up.
Scumbag Steve come from?
This always comes up, and I don't
Little
know how to answer.
backstory.
Sorry, I gotta ask.
So
Where's the
I don't
Law and
know.
Order SVU? Like,
I am. So I am. I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm very
Allegedly.
We're
very-
all nice
allegedly,
guys.
yes.
debatable.
So I'm very willing to help and teach and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm also like, I don't know, like I'm on both ends of the spectrum. I'm like,
It's like
Autism?
shut up, you're a fucking idiot. Like, don't waste my time with this stupid shit. But at the same time, I'm also like, oh, if you need help, I'll help you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm, like, whatever you need, I'll stop doing what I'm doing to help you. You know what I mean? No problem.
But it's still like that's fucking dumb, and you should figure that out.
Sometimes it is like that.
It do be like that sometimes.
So-
All right,
one
dude,
day-
figure that shit out.
One day, my buddy was talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, you should change your Instagram name to Scumbag Steve." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Cause you're a fucking scumbag." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's fucking valid, I guess." So, and I was like, and I told him no. For like,
you're a fucking scumbag.
yeah, and I told him no.
friend.
I told him no for like weeks, and then he was like, "Dude, just do it." And I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, I guess you're right. Fuck it." So I
Fine.
changed my name to Scumbag Steve. Now everybody always wants to know, where did the name Scumbag Steve come from? And again,
it's a conversation starter.
I'm a nice guy. Like, I just met both of you guys today. You know what I mean?
It was literally just your buddy telling you that you need to change your name to Scumbag
Right.
Steve.
But
Maybe he's
he
a
also,
scumbag.
He also, yeah.
So he's a bigger scumbag than you are.
He also knows like me outside of wheeling and cars and all that
That's
shit. You know what I
fine.
mean? So like, he knows that I'm a nice guy, but he also knows that I'm like, fuck you, leave me alone. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yep.
So average American.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm like weird. You know what I mean?
Let's reclassify that. Average blue collar American.
That's correct.
Another group of people.
Because we're all kind of reasonably blue collar Americans.
yeah, another group of people.
We
though,
go to work
I would
every
say,
day 9 to 5.
The XJ purists. They really think I'm a scumbag because of what I did to a
That's okay.
super
How dare you?
immaculate
This is
two-door.
an 81 Honda.
Yeah. Like, how could you cut that thing up? How could you put dents all over that beautiful Jeep and stuff like that. You know,
I
whatever.
cut it with pride.
Yeah,
Should have bought for
I do
3,500.
with a smile on my face.
Should have bought it
Take-
for 3,500 when I had my chance.
Yeah,
Take my pride and take it home.
yeah. So I don't know. There's not
good
really a
one.
very eventful story to that.
Yeah,
nickname.
it's still a pretty good story. It's a conversation starter.
Anticlimactic. It's you.
We're trying to figure out beers over here.
That's my beer. No, it's my beer.
I'll
Don't
share.
give that
I'll
back.
fucking share it with you.
No, it's fine.
I'm a
I got my own.
scumbag.
It's good.
Worst.
You got to get the sound effects in there. I guess I need to talk about my rig now,
Yeah, let's hear
even
it.
though it's not here. I don't have to.
I'm sorry.
All right. If
Nobody
I,
asked me.
We've gotten a few beers.
No,
deep,
it's fine.
So at this point,
I want to know. I know you're about to tell us, but I want to know: is the LJ Rubicon or is it just a sport
It's
or unlimited? or
Just a
whatever?
regular unlimited
Okay.
Is it
Yep.
automatic?
beer.
automatic.
That's good.
Yep.
Do you know why?
there a
Ruber
pain in the-
Crawler. I think Ruber Crawler
yeah.
is the cheat code for the 42
Absolutely.
RE, right?
42 RLE.
RLE. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. That is the cheat code, man.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a doubler
Stacking.
with no extra length.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that was my first car. Backstory on that: when I was a little kid, we were traveling to Kings Dominion, close to Richmond area. For anybody that doesn't know where it is, tractor trailer jackknifed, hit our minivan. I was like 6, 7 years old. Jackknifed.
Was
Dad-
this pre-COVID?
way before COVID? Pretty sure this was still in the 90s.
In the 90s.
Dad was driving, mom in the passenger seat, my sister in the middle, neighbor, and then me in the back. I was asleep. Like I said, tractor trailer jackknifed, bounced off 3 cars. Ours was the third one to hit. Woke up seeing black and white. My ear was cut off.
Oh my
wow.
god.
They had to surgically reattach it. My scalp was peeled back. I had like
Oh my
100
God.
staples across my
I
forehead.
can't imagine
That's
your
fucking
parents'
badass.
fault.
My sister got bumps, bruises, a little bit of glass in her arm. My parents got a little bit of bruises, and then my neighbor just walked away perfectly fine. Ended up suing the company for everything they had.
Rightfully so.
Right.
And then my parents were smart. They set it up as a CD. And then when my sister and I turned 18 or whatever it was, they gave us the money. So I put that money towards the Jeep and towards Biotech.
Nice.
Nice.
And that's how it started. So I bought that in...
As a young person, that was a very smart move.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My parents definitely helped me out as far as financially sound thing. Well, they were in charge of my account at that point because 18, 19 years old, you don't know what the fuck you're doing financially.
You're like,
so-
I have a wiener.
Yeah. I like Jeeps.
I like Jeeps, and I have
yeah.
a wiener. I want to go
Very
buy
so-
a Jeep, and I want to go use my wiener. Like, come
All
on.
right.
That's another reason why I'm holding on to that Jeep as much as I can, because that was like a bonding thing between my father and I. We went to
Plus is the coolest Jeep I think they've ever made.
Yeah,
didn't
definitely.
know that.
Definitely one of the best.
LJs are
that was the
fucking
other thing.
awesome.
Like I bought the Jeep. There was 2 Jeeps on the lot at the dealership that we were looking at.
Oh, it was brand new.
No.
Okay.
I think I was either the
brand
second or third, because it's 2004. I bought it in 2011.
Still pretty new at that point, though. in
It
my
was
opinion.
2004. I was probably either second or third owner. 75,000 miles for 17.
Wow.
So,
Oh wow.
and there was only 2 Jeeps on the lot. Everything else was Tacomas, lifted bro
Ugh.
trucks, all that
Dude,
shit.
can we talk about real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can we talk about the price of LJ Rubicons real quick?
Oh, it's,
All right,
Dude,
so
they're like 30 to
hold on.
40 still.
Can we even go back to just LJs in general?
I mean, 17 is a smoking deal.
Right.
So sorry to kind of steal this, but I built an LJ for my little sister.
Good on you.
She was 15 years old. She's like, I want a Jeep. I'm like, okay. So I started looking more and more. Facebook Marketplace, everything was ridiculous. COVID prices. We're gonna bring back COVID one more time. Let's drive it home for everybody out there. COVID prices.
It's not
Here
real,
we
just
go.
like birds.
But it's an LJ, so I find this LJ and
Birds
I'm like,
aren't real.
all right, I'm gonna go down and look at it. It needed beyond repair, whatever. Both front fender flares, some patchwork on the the passenger side,
Yeah.
fender well, rust holes, this, that, and the other thing. Either way, this Jeep that should have been like 12 to 15,000, picked it up for like 7.
Yeah.
Put 20 hours, 30 hours of work into it, whatever. That's what I needed to do. But now it's like probably a 15 to 25,000. You know,
I think I saw your post on that.
it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, you did a good job on that.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But it is a brand new Jeep. It's got 200,000 miles, but still,
That's
every bit
nothing.
of
Is
it.
it a
You're
4.0?
just breaking it in.
4.0.
That's
like,
it.
go
2J's the other
forever.
ones.
Basically a
Absolutely.
Honda.
Yep.
Bone.
She's just getting broken in.
bone stock.
Keep it that way.
And she's like, I don't want to do a thing to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
thank
all
you,
for
thank
it.
you.
Especially when it's like, if you restore something like that.
It was complete restoration. Repaint, fixed rust,
That's a lot of
fixed the
work you guys
frame, fixed everything. It was every bit of 40 to 50 hours of work in the garage.
Ironically enough, I'm working on a 2006 LJ in the shop right now. Same thing. Guy was searching for an LJ.
Like-
bought it from like Washington, I think.
Yeah.
Brought it to us. I went through it top to bottom, and he's pretty much doing everything at this point. Suspension, just did the radiator, thermostat, rear main seal, oil pan gasket, catalytic converters, brakes all the way around, like everything. He just wants it to be spotless.
The way it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Well, revitalizing.
Yeah. Because it's got like 33s and I think like a 4-inch rough country on it right now.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, yeah.
but
This thing, I spent so much time on it. I freaking love it. She's like, can you do this for me? I'm like, yes. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? She's like, can I?
It brings you joy just to make
Yep.
it nicer.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
you don't have to twist your arm.
Nope.
Nope.
No, absolutely. So I'm
Yep.
gonna like upcoming for it because I'm just gonna keep building into it. She's like, she gave me a couple bucks,
Yeah.
towards it. She had her money saved up, and I was like, I don't care. She was like, you want a Jeep, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy this for you. I was like, I'm your older brother. I make money. I don't care.
That's awesome.
This is awesome for you. You love it. Everybody at school loves it. It's a dated Jeep.
Yeah.
And she goes to this little preppy school. I went to the same preppy school, whatever.
Yeah, but they
Blah,
all have
blah, blah.
BMWs and stuff, and she
Yeah.
has a nice.
And she
older
has
Jeep.
this like old school Jeep, and everybody is like drooling over it. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god,
At
that's
least
so
they
cool!"
can appreciate it.
Oh my god, they're
Shit, kids in our area. you're like,
BMWs,
well, ew,
Mercedes,
Jeep?
this, that, and the other thing, and they're
Yeah.
like, "That's cool."
Yeah.
She pulls in and the top's off, and she'll swing by my house and she'll like, can you take off the top? I'm like, absolutely. Can you? Like, I help her, I take her off with her, and then I help her, I teach her how to put it back on so she knows how to do it and everything of the sort. And she's like, thank you. And like, literally, she's head over heels for it. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And it's not the hardcore wheeling that we're into. It's
Yeah.
just the Jeep life.
Yeah.
So that's my other side is
I do a little
everybody
bit
out.
both.
So I'm going to be honest. Everybody out there, I'm on another podcast. I do this podcast called Jeep Life Podcast, and I'm going to give my plug right now.
It's okay. We'll do it again at the end, too.
Yeah, we will. Break it, Billy. You can catch us every week on the Jeep Life Podcast. And if you're into Jeeps, if not, if you're into off-roading in general, we cover everything from hardcore off-roading, hardcore builds, 1-ton swaps, full hydro, all the way down to the everyday Jeep needs. And we talk about, just the overlanding, camping, this, that, and the other thing. So if you're looking for
All the
another
good stuff.
podcast, we're cool. We're fun.
We've already collaborated, and we didn't even plan it.
We didn't, but you'll also find us everywhere. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Everywhere you want to
We're
be.
on Patreon, as well as every social media platform, and also every streaming platform: Apple, Spotify, Pandora and every other one out there.
So
Just like this podcast.
yeah, the Dirt Drive podcast.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I've stopped telling our listeners to, just go follow us because you've already followed us on the Dirt Drive podcast. You need to go tell a friend about our podcast.
Get the word out.
Because just because you follow us doesn't mean that your friend's going to follow us. So you should tell your friend about us so they can follow us as well and help us out to get out to other people.
Exactly.
Help me help you.
Friends help you come out.
That's kind of our whole thing is like
friends help friends.
We had Tommy on that helped promote him.
Yeah.
We had Abe Wine on from Truck Night in America. We had Angel, Seven Slots Society on.
Yep.
So I want to get you guys on our podcast. We do a full live episode that
we
you
just
guys
started
can
doing live with video recording too.
Nice.
So where do you stream to?
Mostly YouTube at this point.
Okay.
For the video aspect of it.
So we're opposite. We go Facebook.
I think he does clips on Facebook. That's about it.
So if you just heard that startup, it is our buddy Josh Woodward.
Very nice.
Very nice.
King of the castle.
That was a
My wife.
V8 Hemi starting up right there, and it was his name's Woody's Jeeps on Instagram. If you want to go follow him, he has a Woody too. That thing every time it starts up, it gives you a Woody.
Girl. Oh yeah, she's a dirty girl. Oh yeah, she's a dirty girl. Oh my god.
Thank you, Tim, for this soundboard.
we discovered a soundboard, and I discovered where the button is. So
There you go.
either way,
You pass that around.
Oh, is this the Jeep?
That was prom.
Oh
Wow.
man,
Is this the LJ?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was before I did anything to it.
sounds wonderful in the background.
Very nice.
By the way,
A little ambiance.
dude, she is a beaut.
So the ironic thing
The
about
Jeep's
that
nice, too.
photo. The ironic thing about that photo. We were on our Moab trip. Literally in the middle of
that haircut looks awesome.
yeah, when I still had hair.
I just looked at the hair.
That
The
receding
Jeep-
hairline.
The Jeep I've seen, man.
We were in Moab in the middle of the desert camping, and my mom texted me this photo because it was the anniversary. I was like, "What
That's
a fucking
cool.
crazy turn
That's
of
really
events!"
cool.
Right.
Like,
To be there and have that, wow,
it's
it's pretty awesome, man.
I've had that since 2011. My dad and I were the first. Honestly, that was the thing that got me into being a mechanic. I started doing the modifications to that, and that's what scratched my itch to be like, I want to be a mechanic now.
I'm trying to find a picture of my Jeep when I first picked it up, just so I can show you guys exactly
I
how.
had a two-door
how
XJ
mint
as
it
well.
was.
It was a daily for like 6 months, but it
Honestly,
had a
listen,
little electrical gremlin.
Honestly, my last XJ, like I said, it was a 2001, so they have like a little bit nicer interior. That was hands down probably my favorite daily driver I've ever had.
Yep.
Like they're just so comfy. Oh, here we go, right here.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolute, like cherry.
I made an album that I'll show you guys when we go off air.
If you guys want to see that.
Oh,
that looks pretty.
Yeah,
She's a beaut, Clark.
she was a beaut.
What a beaut. But yeah, the LJ's been through a bunch of shit. Like,
They make it.
driving from Northern Virginia, where I live currently, to Blairsville, Pennsylvania almost every weekend during college. And then one of my best friends in college was from Chicago. Did a road trip from Blairsville, Pennsylvania to Chicago and back, down to Myrtle Beach and back, now to Moab and back.
That's wild.
Like, it's 75,000 miles when I bought it. It's got roughly 180 on it right now.
All right, so there's some truth to all that.
Oh yeah. I've gone back and forth about selling it a couple times when I was down on my luck, but I'm glad I've
All
kept
right.
it.
So I'm gonna go way back, and I'll start with my Jeep kind of introduction. And didn't even do this to begin with. But
Way to go.
so here we go. You skipped right over me. There we go. So I was born with a Matchbox car in my hand. I was that kid. I was born with a Hot Wheels car, Matchbox car, doesn't matter. It had 4 wheels. I was freaking on it. Taking things apart, putting them back together from the time I was as soon as I can remember.
Yep.
Then I had gas nitro RC cars, electric RC cars, everything under the sun. I was that kid that loved cars. So I went to college for mechanical engineering, got into the automotive industry, graduating college, and then from there it was kind of one place after the next. Spent a year and a half at one place, and then went into another place. It was called Dorman Products, which they make OE aftermarket car parts.
Dorman.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Household name, man.
Dorman, easy going. They make AutoZone, Napa. They make Advanced Auto. You know, all the sorts, whatever. Either way, worked for them for a little while, and then I got a phone call to go work at Quadratec. Quadratec, if you don't know, is leader in Jeep aftermarket parts.
If you're into Jeeps, you know.
If you're into
Quadratec.
Jeeps, you know
Yeah, you
Quadratec.
don't need an introduction for Quadratec.
So I was a product development engineer for them for a little while. I recently just left their company to go work for somebody completely outside of the industry. So kind of cool, different. But so Jeeping started when I bought my 2015 Jeep Wrangler JKU right after I graduated college. Graduated school, and I was like, I want a Jeep. I want a Jeep, I want a Jeep, I want a Jeep. I don't know why, I just wanted one. So I bought one, drove it off the parking lot kind of deal. It had a little bit of a lift and 33s and some work done to it. Still my daily driver to this point, and
Going strong.
yeah, it's been through 4 different suspension revisions, transfer case rebuild, axle rebuilds, this, that, and the other thing, everything under the sun.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, just because break a pilly and I break shit that I really shouldn't have, but I still
Yeah.
do. So yeah, that's where my Jeeping started, and then I had a 98 XJ that was converted to a 5-speed manual.
Okay.
It didn't come with an auto. It came with an auto, you know, stock.
Yeah.
And then it was converted over. And then this latest build is the 99 TJ on tons and kind of 40s and
Tons and 40s.
well, it's not really tons. Dana 60s aren't tons.
3/4 tons.
Or
Non-tons.
3/4 tons.
Same,
but-
same.
So we can bring this up and we'll talk about it for a hot second.
My wife.
My
You
little,
gotta get that as a recording on that.
Oh
On
yeah,
the
she's a
soundboard.
dirty girl.
yeah, my little wiener says Dana 60s are not tons. They're technically 3/4 tons because.
So for everybody saying that they're F250 Dana 44s and Dana 60 rears, just because they're 8-lug, they're not tons.
They're not
Just
tons.
We call that a hot
Sorry,
take.
we're
Just
gonna
saying.
call you
It's a
out
hot
right
take.
now.
Just saying.
I'm even calling my Dana 60 Pro Rock 60s from Dynatrack are not freaking tons. So there you go. My wife. Really
How
nice. Giggity, giggity, giggity.
Me and my homie Azimuth.
But either way. So, yeah, I picked this up about 4 years ago, and it's been history ever since, and it's a good time.
Fuck yeah.
As you've seen today, I do
Yeah.
dumb shit.
That's where I'm trying to go with mine. Like the biggest thing I've done was the 4.5 Rubicon Express long arms.
Yeah.
I haven't touched the gears.
Well, long arms is a huge deal.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So when I was in college, ironically enough, I was in suspension.
You wanted longer wieners.
Yes. I was
Sorry,
in,
this goes
I
real
was in
sideways.
chassis suspension part of my automotive course, and I brought the Jeep in because it had a budget 3-inch lift
Yeah.
or whatever it was, and I was going through the suspension, like all the bushings were blown, like the shocks were fucked, and I
Blown
called my
doesn't
parents and I
seem
was
so
like,
bad.
can I spend, $4,000 on a new suspension? Because even in my small brain at that point, because I was still young and dumb, I was like, I don't want to have to upgrade
dumb, and full of
it
cum.
again. So I'm going to go long arms. Young, dumb, and full of cum.
All right, we're taking a hard turn again.
Oh, yeah. Hard left.
It was your cum though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's done.
I just curious.
Oh.
my God.
The 4.5 Rubicon Express 35's been running 35s. I've only just recently rebuilt the front axle before the trip to Moab. Stock, everything else. Haven't touched the transfer case. New drive shafts. The only cosmetic thing I've done so far is Poison Spider front fenders, Highline fenders, Poison Spider louver on the hood. Got a cowl intake. I just did Poison Spider sliders, and then I found a company in Colorado. Drawing a blank on their name now. They do trail gates. It's like the Poison Spider tailgate, but it's got a built-in storage container on the back. And I was like, oh, for an extra, $300, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So it folds down, and then you open it up for storage. So I got all of my, tree savers, toe straps, everything in the back.
Very nice.
Outside of that,
But you can't reach them off-road.
Yeah, I've learned that in Moab.
That's why you
So
went
I've
with a friend.
learned that here in
I was
the East
literally on
Coast.
Hamburger Hill, and I was, vertical, and my winch controller was in the back.
Oh,
So can we talk about that real quick? Where do you keep your recovery gear?
I can grab it from wherever I'm sitting. Well,
All right,
in the
so
driver's
that's
seat.
a good
Yeah.
point for you. I keep all my stuff. It's like mostly under my seat or under the passenger seat, all that I can grab.
Accessible.
Yep.
Yep.
At
Within
least
arm's reach.
Within, so I have 3 soft shackles right behind me,
Yep.
like on the roll bar that I can grab. So that's, within reason, I can make anything happen. And then I have a tree saver underneath my seat. I have a 30-foot underneath my seat, and then another tree saver under my passenger seat.
All right. They make it work though.
And it's all reachable. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, that was wasn't a forethought when we started, but that whole
Now it's a
on
forethought.
Hamburger Hill. That
So
was
it
we were
wasn't
on
a
that trail
forethought when I
for-
started either. It
Well-
was just that's what happened. It was like,
Not to
okay,
toot my own
where can
horn
I
with
put
the
my
Jeep.
recovery stuff?
My Jeep doesn't really get stuck that often, so I don't really need
okay.
it that much.
Oh,
Burn.
I have a big wiener too.
Must
Yeah.
be fucking nice.
Burn.
You know what? I didn't get stuck
Burn.
either, and then all of a sudden I started getting stuck, and then all of a sudden it was like, where can I put my recovery shit?
I thought I was
Because-
cool, and then it took an arrow to the knee.
And then my Jeep stalls out on hills that I shouldn't stall out on.
You ain't getting stuck. You ain't wheeling hard enough.
Oh shit!
Oh. On that note,
All right.
anybody want to plug their Instagram handles or anything else before we sign
we're
off?
ending this now?
I mean, if you want to.
I thought we were gonna go.
We
for
were gonna
another
do more.
hour.
I guess.
That
I
depends
will.
on everybody else.
I'm sorry.
So, my Instagram is Scumbag Steve 15. I'm not on Facebook. I am on Instagram. If you check out my page is private, but if you request to follow me, I'll accept it or whatever.
He's not a scumbag.
If
No.
you have a Jeep only,
Right.
in your
He
profile
is a
picture.
merciful God.
But if you
So if it's you and your girlfriend, don't requesting him.
if you look me up, you'll see posts about me building the Jeep, fabrication tips and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. I don't do it for a living, so you're not gonna see like a shop or anything. Like I have no business to plug or anything like that. But if you
Scum built.
want to see a 2-door XJ get
Scumbill. I like
more
that.
and more crumpled, give me a follow.
Bill?
Crumpled it today.
You
Yeah.
can find my personal page, YJ_Bill personal. bill@hardlinefab.com if you want to email us, or a professional page for Instagram would be hardline4x4. Find us on Facebook too. That's about it as far as where to find us, besides Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Hell yeah.
So if you're in the greater Philadelphia to Allentown area, please look up Bill. Great fabricator, great just in general maintenance guy if you need help with any of that.
I just say full bolt-on 4x4 weld-on kits. I mean,
everything
wheels,
of the
tires,
sort.
alignment, maintenance. Yeah, you name it. We are your one-stop 4x4 shop.
Let me also add not only that, but I mentioned before the attention to detail that you guys have over there is like.
Thank you.
That's the biggest thing.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? Anybody can throw a lift together, but you guys have
Thank you.
very, very good attention to detail.
I don't like to speak on that myself, but read our Google reviews and
Absolutely.
you will find a very similar trend.
That's one of the biggest
and we
parts.
pride ourselves in that.
No,
We'll let the work talk
and
for
Steve,
itself.
Exactly.
as you're saying, that's why I kind of wanted to give Bill this shout out. Like, one of the few shops that I would trust my rigs, both rigs, with in general.
It's sad. It's hard to find. It shouldn't be.
I have not. I'm going to be honest. I have not taken either of my rigs. 100%
Slacker.
have not at this point taken them to Bill.
Well, you work on your own. You shouldn't.
Well, and that's the thing is I do work on my own,
Right.
but you are one of the few people I would
I appreciate
trust
that. I really do. It means a
with
lot.
my rigs, because of that point that I would just be like, I don't trust it anymore. Like, I
Yep.
can't do it myself.
Yep.
Bill definitely
Yeah.
could. He is the person that I want to take my shit to no matter what. And,
That should be.
a lot of
and
gear
when
and
I
axle work
start
too.
have the ability that I'm like, I don't want to work on my stuff anymore.
Yep.
I'm going to take it to Bill.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get it done.
I don't have time and I have too much money.
Not enough time,
Sure.
too much money.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Classic.
hopefully I'll get to that point one
Yeah.
day, but either way. But I'm Break It Billy, break_it_Billy on Instagram. If you just type in Break It Billy on Google, you'll find it. Also, I'm on the Jeep Life Podcast, so if you search Jeep Life Podcast on Instagram, Google, Jeep Life Pod, any of the sorts, you'll find us anywhere of the sort. But
Cool.
yeah,
All right.
great time.
Dig it, man.
Again, I'm the Jeep guy, Jeep_guy 602.
Big guy.
PJ Pomada Photography.
It's under the fucking umbrella, dude.
God damn it, Tommy.
Tommy's setting up like,
Shut
oh
up,
my
Tommy.
God!
You're gonna blow us
There's
up on
fire!
podcast.
Fire.
Sorry.
With all of that, thank you guys for listening to the Dirt
Actually,
Drive
I don't
podcast.
think we're that bad. I
Yeah.
think it's all right. It's fine.
We're good.
Starts melting.
Dirt Nerds
Lord.
Motors, Dirt Nerds Off-Road.
We're under an easy
Yeah.
up with a propane fire tank.
We're not gonna die. Trust me. We're
Not
fine.
yet.
All
we're good.
right. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye now.
See you guys.
Thanks for having us on.